So, you wanted answers? The answers are coming.
The answers are coming?
Yes, from this point on, it's going to start breaking into a new format, maybe? I don't know what you call
did
it.
mention that last time, yes.
There'll be
It was going to be like, didn't you say it was going to turn into like a Broadway musical?
If I said that, then I shouldn't have said that, but yes.
So does that mean we have to sing?
No, we're not singing.
So did you figure it out? Sorry.
It's not exactly like that, but it gives that vibe, you know.
I don't know if I'll be able to help myself.
It's just the characters that we've done that are extravagant, you'll know.
Like Jesse and James.
Yes.
Oh, Jesse and James. Oh, you should have given me warning. I could have looked up. I need to master my Jesse voice, which is not a Jesse voice at all. Okay. Leon. Ushiro Miya Leon. So, did you figure out who killed Beatrice?
Yeah, more or less.
What? After only speaking with those three?
Well, he was like a good detective in his day, and he's already seen the other games, so he's already figured most of it out.
Puts me to shame. Had you figured it out by the time you got to this point in the game?
No, I've seen the answer, kind of.
Wait, you
like
saw
I said,
the answer?
Like I said, I read the name of one of the theories, and I was like, that's it. And that's all I went off of for the rest of the series.
Is this why you told me not to look up anything?
Yeah. Literally one word is all it takes.
You don't mean the head, do you?
Bernkastel isn't thinking about the two Beatrices involved with the Kinzo. She's talking about who killed the Beatrice of 1986.
I'm not really sure what you mean by the Beatrice of this year. What's all this about a witch called Beatrice? And then there's what we were just talking about, and that epitaph too. Isn't it about time you explained all this to me?
Alright. No point stringing you along.
Ooh, new music.
No, this is the Shannon corrupted save file music.
Shannon corrupted... Wait, what?
Remember when she had a blue screen? Will wanted her and Cannon to come. She wanted Shannon to get Cannon so that they could all talk together. And she was like, do you really want that?
I don't remember that.
Oh my goodness, how could you not remember that?
I don't remember it.
She had this moment where her eyes just went blank and she was like, are you sure you want that?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
How do you not remember that?
I just don't remember it.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry. Alright, let's start from the beginning. Who is this witch Beatrice?
Strictly speaking, it isn't a person. It's the concept known as Beatrice the Golden Witch.
You mean the ghost stories themselves?
To be more specific, even the ghost stories are only one of the elements that create the concept.
You've lost me.
Ghost stories are normally told in the second person or third person. However, someone started telling those in first person.
You mean someone started claiming that they were Beatrice?
The legend of Rakenjima's evil spirits, and the made-up story for keeping the kids out of the forest. These were combined with Kinzo's constant cries of Beatrice, Beatrice, and gradually became the legend of the witch. Ushiromiya Maria became entranced by that fictional witch and begged for a chance to meet her. And then, someone answered her call.
So this is all Maria's fault.
Not just Maria.
I'm still not following, but I'll just nod and tell you to keep going. Is this the voice that I did for Leon?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Closest-ish?
Yeah.
What do you mean by answered her call?
Because of Ishirumi and Maria's unfortunate childhood history, she became obsessed with the occult. Someone felt sympathy for her, acted the part of Beatrice, and played with her. Maria tends to recognize people by their behavior rather than their physical appearance. Though Rosa is only one person, Maria calls her mother the Black Witch when she gets violent. And at times, Maria views Rosa as a different person, separate from her mother. In other words, even when a person visually looks the same, she tends to view them as multiple different people, depending on their attitude. This fact puts the scene where Maria first met Beatrice in a new light.
That's really interesting.
Remember I brought this up, when he was interviewing Maria?
Yeah, you did, but I'd never put it into place with, that she views everybody like that.
Yeah. After being chased out of the mansion by the adults, Maria decided to have some tea in the rose garden. At that time, someone probably started talking to Maria. And then, when they heard this occult-loving girl talking happily about how she wanted to meet the witch Beatrice, this person acted as though Beatrice was possessing them. On the outside, they didn't look like Beatrice. However, when their manner of speech and behavior changed abruptly, Maria would recognize them as a different person. That's why her appearance was so sudden. We can probably view Maria's love of witches and the occult as a form of escapism. She believed the power of witches could bring about a change in her unfulfilling and incomplete life. That's why she wanted to believe that witches exist. She thought that believing would make her happy.
It's true that Aunt Rosa brought up Maria by herself, and that she was always busy with work. I do feel sorry for Maria, but still.
Don't neglect the heart. Maria believed for the sake of believing. She believed in Beatrice's conjuring trick from the bottom of her heart. That probably comforted her a lot. And at that moment, the witch Beatrice was born.
Someone saw that Maria Charm wanted to meet a witch, so they decided to play witches with her.
That's right. This marks the birth of Beato the Elder. All of that about living 1,000 years and being bound to Rekenjima. That was mixed into the story of ghosts wandering the mansion at night, which was part of the legend of Rekenjima's evil spirits. As Frudo Erica had guessed, the two ghost stories had fused. Someone fused the two stories together and acted the part. So, Beatrice held traits from both ghost stories. She was the master of the mansion's night, while also fearing spiderwebs.
So when Berncastle asked us who killed Beatrice, she means who killed the kind person who acted the part of Beatrice.
That's close, but not quite. She doesn't mean someone acting a part. We're talking about two different people.
What?
Just like how, in Maria's eyes, her mother and the Black Witch are different, separate people. Beatrice and the person who played that part are also different people. It was just like Mariage Sorcière. One person could be the creator, and the other would acknowledge those creations, thereby nurturing the illusion. The Golden Witch Beatrice was also created by one person, and then nurtured when Maria acknowledged her.
Nurtured it and Maria was the one doing the nurturing?
Kind of, seems like.
So killing the role that was being acted out wouldn't mean the same thing as killing the kind person who was playing the part?
Even if Beatrice's vessel is lost, that isn't the same as Beatrice being killed. It's easier to understand if we use a telephone as an example. Let's say I call you on the phone. From my perspective, during the call, the phone is you, in the sense that it's what I talk to. But what if I break the phone?
I see. I don't. If you kill the phone, you won't be able to talk to me, but that doesn't mean you've killed me.
We know Maria once offered to let Beatrice possess her early on in their relationship. That clearly shows that Beatrice didn't look like the portrait at that time.
So if the person acting the part and the witch character they play are different people, we're talking about killing just the witch character itself. Is that even possible?
Only the actor can kill the character. In other words, the person who killed Beatrice is the person who played the part of Beatrice.
You mean that the person who played witches with Maria-chan is the culprit that Burncastle was talking about?
That's it. But, as if that wasn't confusing enough, this chapel is now a world inside a cat box. The culprit is the cat. There are now 2 cats existing at the same time. One alive and one dead.
Confusing is right. I'm still lost, but keep going. You're saying that there are 2 culprits?
Right. The human who can create and kill Beatrice, and the human who never gave birth to Beatrice in the first place, who can kill the entire concept of Beatrice. Both of those humans are here.
Then let me ask. In this Beatrice murder case, who are the 2 culprits?
Let's start with the dead cat.
Just give me the names! Oh my goodness! The anticipation! Who is it?
You.
What? What?
It's painfully easy to guess. Your world is the only one where the witch Beatrice doesn't exist.
I don't understand.
Both Maria and Jessica told me stories about the witch Beatrice. However, when they talked about the ranking system at the dining table, you weren't there.
I wasn't there?
Maria came to visit Rekenjima with Rosa, and Rosa was sitting next to her. That's impossible. If you exist, then Leon comes after Rosa, then Jessica, then Maria. There should be 2 people between Rosa and Maria in rank. In that case, they should be sitting on opposite sides of the table and separated by 1 seat. In other words, in the world where Leon exists, it's impossible for Maria to be sitting next to Rosa. It was the same in Jessica's story. If you were added to the ranking system, then when looking down the table towards Kinzo's seat, you should be on the left side and Jessica should be on the right. After that comes George on the left side and Angie on the right. Jessica and Angie will be sitting next to each other, whether you're there or not. However, which side of the table they're sitting on changes. In the world where Leon exists, Angie's seat is on Jessica's left. However, if Leon doesn't exist, then Angie's seat is on Jessica's right. Every time someone talked about the witch Beatrice of 1986, they were all talking about a world where you don't exist. And in your world, there are no ghost stories about a witch. To you, Beatrice is either Kinzo's mistress or his benefactor, not a wandering ghost.
The head loved Beatrice deeply, did he not? I can't imagine why she would be made into a ghost story.
Exactly. If you exist, the witch Beatrice doesn't. Your existence kills Beatrice.
Are you saying I'm the culprit who killed Beatrice? That's just crazy. How can I be the culprit if I don't even understand her and have never met her?
Flip it around. If you don't exist, Beatrice will be born.
Flip it? Are you trying to say Beatrice and I are 2 sides of a coin?
That's a good way to put it. That's it exactly. You're a coin, and Beatrice is on the other side.
I don't get it at all.
At first, I didn't get your existence either. But I formed a theory about you after
It's
hearing all
comforting.
this.
I didn't understand your existence.
The key is that you're 19 years old.
I don't remember telling you about my age, but you got it right.
Jessica said you were already the student council vice president when she joined your school, and that you became the president the next year. That means you're 1 year older than Jessica. I thought Jessica was 16.
I thought she was 16 as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because I said that. Jessica is 18 years old, so Leon must be 19.
I see. And what sort of theory can you make now that you know that I'm 19?
The theory I can make is that you aren't Ushiremi and Natsuhi's child.
How rude! I don't know what game you're playing, but I won't allow you to insult both me and my mother like that.
Why are you the successor instead of Kraus?
I will succeed the headship when I come of age. When I have a kid, I'll probably pass the title down to them when they come of age.
Then why didn't Kinzo give the headship to Kraus when he came of age?
You heard what our head said. He was used by the cunning elders of the Ushiramiya family and suffered much. And that's why he decided that only young people should inherit the headship from now.
In the world without you in it, there is no silver ring for the successor. That silver ring proves that Kinzo had a strong desire, which he didn't show in any other world, to see that you became the next head.
I can't deny that you may have a point there. The head always seemed to adore me particularly, and I was very young when he first promised to make me the head when I came of age. He was very strict when he told me to keep up in my studies in preparation just for that day. But I don't think my father was any less talented. Why did grandfather skip over him and make me the successor? I've thought it was strange from time to time, but since it's always been that way, I never said so aloud.
Do you know why Kinzo wanted you and not Kraus to become the next head?
How could I know? Are you trying to tell me to stop neglecting the heart again? Do you think you understand how the head's heart works?
It's because you're the child of Kinzo and Beatrice.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, I think you brought it up a while ago. Well done. There was a crisp applause and a mocking laugh. Bunker still. That was faster than I expected. I thought you'd let me play a bit longer. Bunker still appeared sitting on the altar, almost as though it had become her own personal chair. When did you realize that Leon shared Beatrice's blood? As soon as I realized that Leon was 19. It was the same number as the baby from 19 years ago, the hint that appeared in the 5th game. Didn't that baby fall off a cliff? Leon is the baby who was accepted by Natsuhi and didn't fall off the cliff. In other words, if Natsuhi rejects the baby, Leon doesn't exist.
What? Why did they talk about the baby falling off a cliff then? You're saying I'm not Mum's child? That's insane.
What do you mean?
Like, we went through the whole thing where Natsuhi was, like, freaking out about a baby that she threw off the cliff.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So why was that if Leon was accepted, then why did we go through that whole, like, she threw a baby off a cliff?
To set the stage, to let you know the story.
So
you get what it's saying, right?
Did it actually happen then?
So in every other world, Natsuhi rejects the baby. And Leon is not there. However, in this world, she accepts the baby, no baby is thrown off any cliff, and Leon becomes the next successor.
Okay.
You say that, but you don't look too sure. That's right. Ushirimiya Leon is not Natsuhi's child. This is the grown-up version of the baby Kinzo got from somewhere 19 years ago. Not somewhere. Leon clearly shares Beatrice's blood.
Wait, I thought Beatrice died like ages ago. And then we had like the daughter
this.
Beatrice.
Yeah, we went through this. Wasn't sure. It sounded like you got it. But it is... Yeah, so I didn't bring it up because it's kind of gross. But yeah, you got
So it actually is the daughter of Beatrice's son.
Huh? Daughter of Beatrice's son.
Wait.
So we have Beatrice. We have Beatrice's child.
Yeah, is it Beatrice's
and then we have Leon, right?
Son. Yeah.
So we've got Beatrice died, but she gave birth to Beatrice the Elder. Beatrice the Elder died. So where did Leon come from?
That's what I'm saying. Does he come from Beatrice the Elder?
Well, there's only one other Beatrice left, so...
Wait, what did Chick Beatrice?
Well, Chick Beatrice, Elder Beatrice, whatever, I get it mixed up. So there's initial Beatrice from Italy, there's her daughter, and then there's Leon. So yes, the only person who could give birth to Leon was initial Beatrice's daughter. Yeah. The proof is the silver ring, which is only ever given to Leon across all of the many worlds. Oh wait, that was Will. My bad.
Why does the ring prove that I share Beatrice's blood?
In all of the many worlds, you are the only one who receives it. That means that in all worlds, you are the most important person to Kinzo, second only to Beatrice. And his love for you is clearly greater than it is for his son, Kraus, or his granddaughter, Jessica. And you are 19 years old. In other words, if we look back to see what happened 19 years ago, it can lead to a certain theory.
19 years ago? What's supposed to have happened at the time I was born?
You heard it too, didn't you? You even heard it today, and Will was with you, right?
You don't mean Aunt Rose's story?
That's right. Rosa's story came out in the third game, and when the age of the baby in the fifth game matched the date, a certain theory became possible. The fact that Kinzo brought a baby from somewhere and tried to add it to his family proves that the baby was somehow important to him.
And I am the child of the Kuadorian Beatrice.
The Kuadorian Beatrice was the daughter of the Beatrice who arrived in that submarine. But Kinzo didn't think of her as a daughter. He believed she was the same person, Beatrice reborn. When that reborn Beatrice reached the same age as the first Beatrice and truly looked like Beatrice's double, Kinzo made a terrible mistake.
I don't want to hear it!
And that's how it is. Kinzo got Beatrice pregnant with Beatrice. And then he got that Beatrice pregnant with you. So, you're both Kinzo's child and Beatrice's grandchild.
Wait, Kinzo, can you go back to that? Kinzo got Beatrice pregnant with Beatrice.
Yeah. And then he got that Beatrice
and
pregnant.
then he got that Beatrice pregnant with... I just need a moment.
They hinted at this when they went through Kinzo's story. And he was like, oh, I regret it so much, and Kuwasawa was scolding him a bit.
I don't remember. Can you remind me a little bit more? Like,
When was that?
because they also like, okay, I think they've hinted at it a little bit more because there was like the mention of when they were like, you had like that moment where Beatrice was talking to Kinzo, and
They were like it was the old Beatrice there.
uh no, not like the old Beatrice, like so like the Beatrice that we're all familiar with, the crazy one that's like, actually I don't know, because I guess technically Elder Beatrice and Chick Beatrice are the same, right?
I'm honestly I'm not too certain on like Elder and Chick Beatrice.
Like Elder
I get
Beatrice
really
is
confused when those come in. Yeah.
not related to Italian Beatrice, so we're viewing them as separate.
Yeah. So you're saying Elder Beatrice is the daughter, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And Chick Beatrice is also the daughter. Well, they kind of split personalities. But the same person, right? Is that a correct theory?
So back in like the question arcs when we first had Beatrice the Elder, what was I gonna say?
So before the split between Beatrice the Elder and Chick Beatrice, who was that Beatrice? Was that Beatrice the combination of the two?
Say again.
Do you know how there's been like Beatrice and she's been cunning and conniving but also flirting with Battler? Is that Beatrice different to Elder Beatrice and Chick Beatrice? Or were they the same person?
Yes, that's different. A different
They're
Beatrice.
different. So essentially we're saying, going off what they're saying right now, if
okay.
Leon is Beatrice, is
So
that
I think I've got it now. It'll go a little bit more into it, but so the Beatrice we know from like the
early games
and stuff was taught about Beatrice,
Okay.
and so I don't know how to explain it, but we'll see a bit more about it later.
Yeah, and then the Beatrice, so Elder Beatrice and Chick Beatrice are actual. I don't know. What I'm trying to get is I remember there's one bit where there's like one of the Beatrices is talking to Kinzo and they're talking about like, I don't know. I think she's saying something like, "Oh, how he's naughty," and like he likes to tie her up and use like ropes and stuff. Is that also what that's referencing to?
I think that's what it was referencing to. Yeah.
That incident of him just.
So. Third generation of Beatrice, I don't think would have remembered their mother at all, because they would have been way too young before she died.
Yeah.
But in their childhood, they were influenced by, I guess, the story of Beatrice. And we'll get into that later. That's what we'll be getting into, yeah.
Yeah.
If we consider Kinzo's heart, this is the inevitable theory we reach for, explaining why he treated you so specially. He regretted his mistake so much, he tried to make you his proper grandchild. In almost all cases, Natsuhi's pride is brutally hurt, and she refuses to raise Leon. Because of that, you almost always fall from the cliff and disappear.
I heard that I was the child they were finally blessed with after so long, and that Jessica was born the next year.
It's kind of like... Just think about that.
What do you mean?
In all, like, pretty much every single other world where we have this Ushirimiya family, Natsuhi is always that prideful that she refuses the baby.
Yeah. I mean, it also makes sense with Natsuhi's character, though, that if she knows that it was... If she knew that it was Kinzo's actual child, wouldn't she be, like, feeling proud?
If she knew it was Kinzo's child, I'm sure she would have accepted it a lot better than she did.
Because she's always like, oh,
Yeah.
grandfather, grandfather, father.
If she was given the baby, I think she would feel like she was needed by Kinzo. And she would have felt important.
Because it did seem like they had a little bit of a special relationship where she really respected him.
She did respect him, but he really didn't care for her. They pointed it out. I think Byrne said it in Red. He's like, he never even talked to you once in Red.
Oh my goodness. Poor Natsuhi.
It's, I don't know, it's just kind of funny, because, like, you had the whole 5th game where they were, like, in a sense, you could look at it as, the witches getting revenge for this child on Natsuhi, just, like, completely rolling her the whole game. I don't know.
Saying that she was the murderer and stuff.
Yeah, they would, like, the whole point of that game was to rub it in Natsuhi's face and make her, like... They wanted to crack her pride. That was the whole point of the game. If you really never suspected that Natsuhi wasn't your mother, then you should thank her in this world. The reason you never realized the truth is because she's shown as much affection to you as she did to Jessica. There's no need to thank her. After all, it took a dizzying span of time just to find a fragment with you in it. Mathematically speaking, there's actually, oh my goodness, a 2,578,916 out of 2,578,917 chance of her refusing to raise you. You should probably be thanking me for creating this miracle, not Natsuhi. Enough with your stupid probability games. Oh, I'm sorry. No matter whose blood you bear, that doesn't change the debt you owe to the family that raised you.
I realize that. Still, I would like some time to calm down and think things through. That is, if you'll refrain from ignoring my heart.
Sure. Leon took a deep breath and looked upwards. Anyone would be shocked to find that their parents weren't who they believed to be. Still, Leon should be grateful. Grateful towards the family that raised a child who wanted for nothing. It is pretty interesting. Hard to believe that the Golden Witch Beatrice might have lived such an ordinary life, even at such absurdly low probabilities. Isn't it? I think moments like this are hilarious. Will had said it plainly. Ushirimiya Leon is how the Golden Witch Beatrice appears in a different world. The baby Natsuhi rejected 19 years previous. If she'd accepted that child, this is the future that would have occurred. However, if she doesn't accept that child, the witch will be born. The baby whose birth was not celebrated becomes a witch. Leon is the dead cat. However, Leon's existence has nothing to do with what you're interested in, the Rikenjima serial murders. In other words, Leon is the cat that disappears when you open the cat box. Exactly. Leon is just a disappearing cat. But this was pretty fun for a side trip, don't you think?
This is just a side trip?
You're the only one having fun. If I wasn't trapped here, I wouldn't even be worrying about reasoning this out.
I think I know why I was chosen to be your partner in this strange detective game. It seems this Burncastle witch enjoys toying with people's fates and sneering at them.
Wow, incredible. It's rare for someone to understand me on the day we meet.
Apparently I became something that gets called a witch in another world. And apparently I'm the cause of some crime. Is that my sin?
It's no sin of yours. You are you. How things would be if the coin were flipped. The other way is not your problem.
Thank you. Even so, I don't think anyone would be pleased to hear that they caused some sort of trouble in a world of a different fate. Please, tell me, what do I do in that other world?
Burncastle. Should we show the fragments to this kid? Will opened his hand, and something that looked like a pale blue glowing shard of a crystal appeared there. It was a memory, no, a game record of all the games so far. Touch this. You'll be able to see your fate in the other worlds.
Your face is telling me that I'd be happier if I didn't touch it.
Of course. You've probably guessed, but the story here isn't a happy one.
Even so, even if it is another world, it's still about me.
You have both the right to know and the right not to know. If you can convince yourself that the one similar to you, similar to yet different from you, is a separate person, then touch it. Don't you want to know about the fate you might have reached?
I asked this as your partner. Would you show that to me?
As your partner, I'd say look. But as a friend, I'd say don't.
Unfortunately, I'm not your friend.
Then, as a partner, I have one last question.
What?
Are you a boy or a girl?
Well, that was abrupt.
I could see you as a fairly slender boy, but then again, I could also see you as a no-nonsense sort of girl. Even Burncastle has been intentionally keeping it a secret. She made Jessica call you our successor summer all the time, instead of Nissan or Nairsan. You are quick.
People often ask me about my gender, so I always give the same irritated response. Which do I look like to you?
In the 5th game, you're supposed to be a boy, but in many other games, you're thought of as a girl. In the 6th game, when Ushirimiya Battler was the master, 2 demons of different sexes appeared, but we didn't know which was which. In fact, strictly speaking, it started all the way back in the very first game. Your gender is one of the hidden mysteries that exist outside the games themselves.
I'd hate to give you an answer so easily, so I won't. We're partners, right? Does it really matter if I'm not the gender you prefer?
You're right. If we're working together on this, I don't care what your gender is.
Thank you. I've developed a bit of a complex about it, so I'm glad to hear you say that.
I'm all for gender equality. If someone's a waste of space, I'll smack them no matter who they are.
And, of course, I'll pinch rude people, no matter which gender they are. Did she just go to pinch his butt?
That's what I thought for a second. Slowly, Leon reached out and touched the fragment. A moment later, Leon seemed to undergo a violent bout of dizziness, and silently slumped over like a puppet with its strings cut. It was no surprise. When people who don't understand parallel universes have many different fates jammed into their heads, they tend to feel like their brains are swelling and their sense of self is melting away. Leon seemed to have lost consciousness.
Oops, sorry.
So, Leon had what it took to learn everything. A perfect piece to be your partner, wouldn't you say? I'll continue my reasoning. I've talked about the dead cat. Very true. Next up is the living cat. The only one who can kill the Beatrice of 1986 is the one who created her. And there are tons of hints, if you think about it. They've been coming since back when Beatrice was running the games. That's true. In the fourth game between Beatrice and Battler, Beatrice's origin became clear, and at that point, I learned who Beatrice was, and about that person's heart. What do you mean by heart? The motive. The reason why Beatrice had to commit a game-like crime on October 5th, 1986, putting even her own fate on the line. Impressive. So, you figured out the who-done-it and the why-done-it as early as the fourth game. Then what about the how-done-it? Once you know who the culprit is, theorying about the how-done-it isn't impossible. Those linked closed rooms in the third game were a pretty nice job. Almost made me feel like applauding. And the who am I from the end of the fourth game? The culprit who can kill everyone at midnight on October 5th, no matter where they are. By that moment, it's possible to form a certain sort of hypothesis. You might call that the other treasure of the Golden Land. Ooh, so you can say you can reach all of the answers by the fourth game? In other words, with just Beatrice's games? It's possible. After that, Lambda Delta's game and Battler's game were filled with even more hints. As is this game of yours. Well now, why don't you stop stalling for me for time and just tell me, who is the culprit?
Battler!
At that moment, though there hadn't been anyone but them in the chapel, small footsteps rang out. That silhouette slowly walked up to Will and Bernkastel and gave a small bow.
Cannon!
So, you've come. Did you call this person here? Yeah. Who done it? How done it? And why done it? I've understood this person's motive.
Is it Cannon or Shannon?
And are you going to give up just because he's found out your motive? There's no concrete evidence, right? You could make a flashy fight of it with red and blue. That's not what this person wants anymore. They nodded slightly. Their wish was to be noticed. Once that happened, they had no need for trivial excuses or pointless word games. I believe that I understood your motive. Your heart. I'm going to describe it now. I called you here to listen and correct me in your own words if I've gotten anything wrong. The two of them nodded to each other once more. In your 4 games I found your message, and in the 3 games with different masters, I was able to picture the strange sort of fate that must have toyed with your life. It left me speechless. In every game you die without revealing that truth to anyone. Having this person confess in this empty chapel might be pointless. However, even so, I believe it will give her some sort of salvation. People are only saved when someone understands them. No one understood this pitiful witch even after her death, even years later, and including the man she wanted to understand her most. It It's about time someone forgave her. At the end of the 5th game, Battler finally understood. However, it took him so long, and he couldn't make it in time. So even though she's alive here and now, Battler cannot save her. So Battler isn't here at Beatrice's funeral. He won't come. He won't make it in time.
That's depressing.
This is Beatrice's funeral. You will confess. The Divine Master will hear. And I will forgive you. That's supposed to be Battler's job, but he didn't make it in time. So you'll have to settle for me. And Beata gave Battler so many hints too. Lambda also gave that idiot a ton of hints. I even got a good laugh in at Battler's game of repentance for missing so much. But I won't make anyone laugh. I'll just disappointingly carry out your funeral. No more talking from you. That's my job. If you're ready, let's begin. No one will rush you. Berncastel has closed off time for eternity until your funeral ends. You have as much time as you need to prepare yourself emotionally. The silhouette slowly shook its head. It had come here because it was already prepared. Will nodded to show he understood. Then the two looked into Berncastel's eyes, and Will spoke out clearly. This is the culprit. Damn it. I thought it was this one is the next one. So annoying.
We can't, Decky. We can't.
Has to end there.